This time I'll call the meeting to order. Note that it is 5:01, June 22nd, 2023. I'll recognize staff to call the roll.
Rob Allen.
Here.
Ian Dunn.
Here.
Wes Tripp.
Here.
Curtis Casefang.
Here.
John Reese.
Here.
And I'll note that Jordan Ryland is excused and Ian has stepped up as alternate in his place.
Great. I'll note the presence of a quorum. Welcome to the June 2023 meeting of the Raleigh Historic Development Commission's Certificate of Appropriateness Committee. My name is Wes Tripp. I am chair of the committee. If you have not already done so, please come to the front and sign the attendance roster. Agenda and staff reports are available online, and a handout of the meeting procedure is also available. The RHDC Certificate of Appropriateness Committee is a committee of RHDC. It consists of a city council appointed membership, and its members include residents of the historic districts, architects, intern architects, architectural consultants and contractors, attorneys, historians, urban planners, and historic preservationists. At this time, I'll recognize my fellow commissioners to introduce themselves. Start with Rob.
Sure. I'm Rob Allen. I'm a Raleigh native, a resident of the Boylan Heights Historic District, and I work with a architecture firm managing projects mostly commercial in nature.
Ian Dunn. I work at the State Archives of North Carolina, and I'm a Raleigh historian.
Yes, I'm Francis Raspberry with a Raleigh law firm, and I'm legal counsel to the COA committee.
Again, my name is Wes Tripp. I'm an attorney here in Raleigh and resident of the Prince Hall Historic District.
Curtis Casefang. I am an architectural consultant on the design of theaters and concert halls, and I'm on my 19th year of association with RHDC.
My name is John Reese. I'm an architect registered in the state of North Carolina, and I'm also a resident of the Glenwood, Brooklyn neighborhood.
At this time, I'll recognize staff for them to introduce themselves as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Colette Canane. I've been with the city for about 5 years now, and I have a master's degree in historic preservation.
Good evening. I'm Erin Morton. I am with the city now for 3 years, and I also have a master's in historic preservation.
Thank you. All right, first up, the agenda is before you, fellow committee members. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second? Or is there a second?
Second.
All right, question before the committee's approval of the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries unanimously. The minutes from last month's May 25, 23 meeting are also before you. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Question before the committee's approval of last month's meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Staff, were there any minor works approved in the last month?
We approved 3 minor works this month.
Excellent. All right, we're now ready to proceed with the evidentiary hearings. Prior to the meeting, notice has been sent to property owners within 100 feet of the properties in question. Legal ads placed and signage posted at the site. Commission members received a copy of each application, staff reports, and were to have visited each property. Staff reports were made publicly available with the agenda. North Carolina law provides that major work applications must be approved in an evidentiary hearing and that persons have an opportunity to address the application if they desire. Evidentiary hearings are conducted in a quasi-judicial format. During the hearing, we receive evidence to determine that proposed changes are not incongruous with the special character of the district or the historic property. We review this evidence against guidelines referenced in the city ordinance before issuing a certificate. Each application is heard in the same way as listed in the meeting procedure handout. The quasi-judicial format of the hearing requires that committee members be impartial. The written staff reports are evidence presented just as any other evidence and were made available to the committee members, applicants, and the public at the same time. If any committee members have any reason to discuss the specific facts of an application before today, we will ask to be excused from hearing that application. There is no time limit on testimony, but repetition is discouraged. Because of the quasi-judicial format of the hearings, which is that the committee hears evidence and then judges whether the proposed change is not incongruous, we are required by North Carolina law to affirm or swear persons that speak before the committee and offer evidence. All speakers will be affirmed at the beginning of each case. And now I will affirm the staff members who will be presenting evidence today. Each of you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide for the matters on today's agenda is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right, we're ready to proceed with our first application, COA 62-2023, 609 Polk Street. Are there any members of the committee who have an interest in this matter or otherwise feel that they cannot be impartial or fair in the hearing of this case? All right, seeing none, we'll ask the applicant and any other individual who will be presenting to step forward. Please come to the dais and introduce yourselves.
I'm Louis Cherry with Louis Cherry Architecture. I'm the architect for the project.
I'm Elizabeth Rue, and I'm also with Louis Cherry Architecture.
And I'm Lyric Thompson, and I'm the property owner.
Excellent. If whoever will be presenting, if you just go ahead and raise your right hand, I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide on this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great. Thank you. I recognize staff for their presentation.
Sure. So as you mentioned, this is case COA 0062-2023 for 609 Polk Street, which is located in the Oakwood Historic District. The nature of the request is to construct a rear addition with screen porch and deck, partially remove a rear patio, remove a portion of the fence, relocate a portion of an accessory structure, which is actually just relocating the fencing around that accessory structure, and installing a mechanical unit. This is a view of the property from Polk Street, and a little bit closer from the sidewalk and from the end of the driveway. And this is a view of the pergola that is just at the very end of that driveway past the rear wall of the house. From that same position, looking towards the screen porch, the existing screen porch. This is the existing chicken coop, which is proposed to be altered. The fencing is proposed to be relocated to the opposite side of the structure. This is an existing shed in the rear yard. And a summary of the staff concerns as noted in the staff report. It was largely that material details and specifications were not provided, including some siding details, screen porch details, roofing specifications, and lighting specifications. And the applicant does have a presentation.
At this time, I'll recognize the applicant for their presentation.
Okay. Let's see. So the house was built in 1897. There were 5 identical houses along Polk Street, and it's been added to multiple times. The original house was 1,038. Let's see, I've got the sort of chronology of that here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. The original house was 1,038 square feet, and then it was added to somewhere around 1914-ish, and then later there was a porch addition after 1950. And what we're proposing is to add about 1,000 square feet, 990 square feet. That will comprise a family room and a master suite with a new screen porch on the rear. This is pretty consistent with the additions on the street of some of the very similar homes. And I will just cut right to the renderings and show that we're very much being very consistent with the relationship to the boundaries along the street, with the consistent with the house. The architecturally, it's very consistent with similar roof slopes, and I'd say what distinguishes it and sort of makes it understandable as a contemporary addition is the use of some of the sliding doors, and the decking is a more sort of contemporary style. The porch is, it's generally very traditional in its detailing. And really that's, I've got lots of information if you want to ask questions, but I think it's fairly straightforward.
All right, thank you, Louis. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak in support of the application? Any members of the public who wish to speak in opposition? Any members of the public with questions or comments on the application? We'll proceed now with committee questions.
Louis, I just have a question about and I'm sorry, I feel like my mic is very loud, about the side yard setback, and I know you provided some diagrammatic information about that. It looks like, and I'm looking at the application, 77 pages, it's PDF slide 20 that has your precedence of non-historic additions within 5 feet of the side yard setback. That was the only place I could find. If I zoomed way in, there was a dimension from the property line. It's pretty tight. It's like 1'9", but it looks wider than that on the other, just your typical plan. Yeah. My question is, what's the side yard setback?
Yes, so the side yard setback is 3 feet. I believe what you're referring to is the next door neighbors. Are you talking about this sheet here? That is the neighbor directly to the east.
Got it. Thank you.
And Louis, I gather I noticed the relatives of the property line, the house is slightly canted, but the main body of the house is slightly canted. I assume what you did is just continued the addition square off to the main body of the house, as opposed to trying to correct it to the...
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Any additional questions from the committee? Rob, it looked like you were formulating something.
Yeah. So just to follow up, and I know we're not building inspections, I'm just curious when the fire separation from your fire separation distance is less than 5 feet, I don't understand how you could have openings along that side. And I don't know if there's any explanation. I know that's outside of our purview, but the reason I ask is because sometimes when we approve approve an application,
Right.
the inspections department may not look as close, and so these are coming from a good place. I hope you understand.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it meets the requirements. It's 2 feet, according to our understanding.
Okay.
I'm to ask it a little more pointedly. It seems like the closest point on the addition is 3 feet from the property line, and the built-to-mass diagram, for instance, shows that the neighbor's property is much further away from what the apparent property line is. Now, I know these are not surveys, so reliability is always suspect, especially if they originate in IMAPs, where everything's shifted a little bit. But in either case, it seems to suggest that we're well beyond 5 feet of separation with the adjacent property. Is that true? I'm looking for a confirmation.
I'm not sure the question, actually.
Are you talking about the neighbor to the east?
Yeah, if we could plop to 27 of 77 on the PDF. I don't know who has control over it.
Our page numbers are different from yours.
Okay, it's the built-to-mass diagram. I mean, it's 27 pages in from the front of it, and it shows this house in relation to, one more back, I think.
It's the circa 2023, I think.
Yeah, that one,
This
Bean.
one?
So it looks like if, assuming that lot line is where the lot line is on the drawing, and if we assume the closest point from the subject house to the lot line to the west is 3 feet, as dimensioned on the drawing, then clearly there's a lot more room between the two houses than,
Oh, yeah.
That's correct. There's a
Absolutely.
okay, there's a whole driveway. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a good answer. Okay.
Yeah.
And Curtis, I think if you look at slide 20, I believe that's the neighbor's property.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions from the committee? All right, thank you. You can have a seat. We'll proceed with committee discussion. And just for the record, note that the evidentiary hearing has been closed.
My point of view, well-done application, clear what they're doing. I think we just approve with conditions, call it done.
Agreed. I think it's a good application.
I just have one issue. The corner window in the, on the rear where the bathroom is, and then that horizontal window, I have no issue with the corner window concept because that's quite clear in the evidentiary stuff, but it's the proportion of that window and the proportion of that horizontal window. And I just want to reference 3.2.9, design additions so that placement, configuration, materials, and overall proportion of windows and doors are compatible with those of the historic buildings.
So that would be the west-facing window at the rear corner.
Well, it's a corner window, so it's on the south and the north and it wraps around.
And it looks like the north elevation is that. Do you take issue with that?
It's just a proportion. It's not the concept of a corner window, because I find that to be...
Okay, but the north elevation appears to be broken into two vertical elements, right?
Right.
And the
So it's
west
more-
elevation.
It's the west elevation issue because of when you think about even in the examples of the corner windows here, Oakwood is about a vertical proportioned window. And even in the modern on 1516 Euclid, it's a vertical corner
Yes.
window.
Would you gain comfort if the applicant said that they were going to have the north-facing window be a similar mulling and proportion arrangement to the, or west-facing window, similar mulling and proportion arrangement to the west, to the north? Maybe want to ask the
Again, just
applicant.
going to a vertical
Right.
relationship.
The applicant could step back up in just a second.
Well, and also the horizontal window to the bathroom you see,
Yeah.
same issue.
Although I would say that with the bathroom window, they could come in with a lot of examples of that on a less critical facade being a weird proportion.
Okay.
So I don't know that that's
Okay.
worth the battle.
Are we good, or do we need to discuss anything with the applicant?
If they're cool with that being a condition, I think we can just go ahead. Yes?
Yeah.
The west, what John was saying is the west-facing elevation, the rear window at the corner is more of a horizontal proportion, and the flip side of that window on the north elevation is a pair of, it looks like field mold or windows of a more vertical proportion. And the contemplated condition would ask you to have the west-facing window follow a similar proportion, field mulling kind of thing to the north. Cool. That was a yes.
Yes.
So what is the solution? Just to add a mullion in between the west side?
Essentially.
Okay.
No.
Oh, come on. Okay. I'll give it a shot unless somebody else wants to. Guys? No? Okay. I move that based on the information presented during the hearing and in the application package, we approve the application with the following conditions. One, that the fiber cement or composite siding be painted and installed, it is really loud, with the smooth side facing out. Two, that the metal roofing have flat pans with no striations or ridges. Three, that the porch screening material be installed on the interior of the railing. Four, that the following be provided to and approved by staff prior to installation or construction. A, siding reveal and specifications. B, standing seam roof specifications, including flat pan width, rib height, low ridge cap profile and finish. C, construction details, including section of the screen porch. D, exterior lighting specifications. And number 5, that the northmost window on the western facade be revised and the arrangement be provided to and approved by staff, but be revised to have a more vertical orientation in its presentation, whether that's through field mulling or a different window.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, the question before the committee is approval of the application with subject to the stated conditions. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. The decision will be official after next month's meeting when the minutes are signed and approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you for a very clear application.
Okay, next is COA 0065 2023 411 North Person Street. Are there any members of the committee who have an interest in the matter or otherwise feel that they cannot be impartial in the hearing of this case? Right. Hearing none, we will proceed. Anyone who will be presenting on this application, please come forward and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Ross Rosar. I'm the homeowner.
All right. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And I'll recognize staff for their presentation.
Sure. This is case COA 0065 2023 for 411 North Person Street. It is in the Blunt Street Historic District. The nature of the request is to construct an accessory structure, install a 6-foot fence, install a 42-inch fence, and install a driveway. This is a view of the house from North Person Street. And this is a view from a little bit further south on North Person on the sidewalk. This is a view from the rear alley behind the house. And again, from the other side of that alley where it turns into a parking lot. The summary of staff concerns were that some material details and specifications were not provided, including a design for the shed doors, the finish and color for the driveway, and exterior lighting specifications. And the applicant did provide a shed design for the doors.
All right. Thank you. This time I'll recognize the applicant for their presentation.
Yeah, so I'm just looking to build a 6-foot fence around the perimeter of the back half of the house, in the southwest corner.
Hold the microphone closer to yourself, please. Thanks.
It's kind of about the record, too. So.
I got it. I just don't want to be too loud.
Yeah, it's crazy loud.
Yeah, so the back corner of the house, where they're just showing the parking lot, we're going to build a shed. And in the front portion of the house, we're going to do a 3.5 foot picket fence.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support of the application? Anyone present who wishes to speak in opposition to the case? Anyone with questions or comments on the application? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to commissioner questions.
Are you the one building the shed?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you plan on building the doors?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, once I get the shed, hopefully I can then build the doors.
You mentioned in the application that you'll be using a lot of materials left over from the renovation of the house. Are those salvage materials, historic materials, or new materials?
It's a mix. Yep. So I did most of the renovations myself in the house. It's a good-looking house too. If I had. We got it was two exterior walls were collapsing, so I replaced most of the siding and saved what I could. So yeah, I have a lot of leftover materials. A lot of the siding I made myself, buying raw wood and then running it through a planer to get it just right. And I also have some of the trim pieces left over as well, which aren't your typical, 5-inch, 5 1/4. They're actually 5 1/2. So you have to get a larger piece and trim it down. So I just plan to do what I know how to do, and I'm just going to build it just like I built the house.
Your house has very distinct overhangs, on the roof lines, and I think the only thing that gives me pause on the design is it seems like there's no overhang anywhere. Is that intentional, or would you consider?
It is intentional. I was trying to keep it kind of low profile, not as ornate. Also, it's really close to the
property line.
Property line, yeah. So I didn't want too much of the roof going over into my neighbor's yard.
Understood. And you mentioned a 6-foot-high fence. Is that part of the application?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just so it's clear, because I think I understand what you're asking for, you're kind of going to mimic but simplify the trim details on the house that are on the house onto the shed, like corner boards.
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah. The vertical trim.
Okay.
The bottom right. Yeah.
Makes it easier to build that way too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I've already done it once, so.
Yep.
Any other questions from the committee? Nope. John? No. All right, at this time I'll close the evidentiary hearing. We'll move to committee discussion. You can have a seat.
I wish it had a little overhang to be a little bit more congruous with the principal structure. But I don't know that I would say it's incongruous.
Don't we still want something to differentiate it from a historic shed, though? That would do it.
Yep.
Conceptually, yes. So will the doors? It'll look like a new structure because the milling and stuff. But yeah, I'm not saying that's a reason to make any demands. Just an observation.
Why don't you do it?
All right. Based on the evidence provided in the application and the testimony in the evidentiary hearing, I propose a motion to approve the application with the following conditions. One, that any new post holes be dug manually and tree roots larger than 1-inch caliper that are encountered while digging shall receive a clean final cut using tools designed for the purpose, such as loppers. 2, that the following be provided to and approved by staff prior to installation or construction: A, manufacturer's specifications or construction details for the accessory structure doors; B, exterior lighting specifications; C, concrete color and finish proposed for the driveway; D, dimension drawing or photograph of the gate design, if not matching the design of the fence.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion or debate on the motion? Hearing none, the question for the committee's approval of the application with the stated conditions. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I can't see you, but congratulations. The application, there you go. Application's been approved, and the decision will be final at next month's meeting when the minutes are approved and signed. Thank you very much.
Should I hold off a month before I start working on it?
Yes.
You guys make my life tough. I'm anxious to get started. Thanks for your time.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, I'll note that COA 0051-2023-516 North Blunt Street is not being heard this month. It's being deferred to next month. Is that
They've
correct?
indicated the intent to come in August.
Okay, in August.
But they'll be back.
All
We're
right.
tracking that.
Any committee discussion? I see 2 items on the committee discussion list: survey for possible training dates. And if you have not already, please sign up to receive email alerts when RHDC meeting agendas are published through the My Raleigh subscriptions. I will note I am subscribed, and those emails come regularly and are appreciated. So, anything else from the committee? Staff? Hearing nothing. Curtis?
No.
This meeting is adjourned.
And Ms. Aaron, official congratulations.